Good morning, friends. In this lecture, we study ferromagnetic materials. Ferromagnetic materials. The material which strongly attracted by magnetic field is called ferromagnetic materials. Okay. In ferromagnetic materials, each atom has net dipole moment. So, in these materials, the strong interaction between magnetic dipole moments of atoms cause them to line up parallel to each other in a small region called domain. So I'll again read. In ferromagnetic materials, each atom has net dipole moment. So in these materials, the strong interaction between magnetic dipole moments of atoms cause them to line up parallel to each other in a small regions called domain. Each domain has a net magnetization. The typical domain size is about 1 mm, containing about 10 raised to 11 atoms. Within each domain, all the magnetic moments of atoms are parallel. In absence of external magnetic field, the domain magnetization are randomly oriented and there is no magnetization. Under external magnetic field, the domains are oriented along the direction of field. As external field is increased, a point is reached where all magnetic moments are aligned parallel to the external field. This condition is called saturation magnetization. After this stage, there is no increase in magnetization. So first figure shows the ferromagnetic material without magnetic field. So this small region shows the domain, and in each domain these all magnetic moment are oriented in the same direction. But in other domain, the direction of the magnetic moment are opposite or randomly oriented. So when this material is placed in external magnetic field, then all domain or within the each domain, all magnetic moment are oriented in the same direction. So in this case, material get magnetized. In some ferromagnetic materials, the magnetization persists even after external field is removed. Such materials are called hard magnet materials. These materials are iron, nickel, cobalt, and used to make permanent magnet. On the other hand, there are some materials in which the magnetization disappears on the removal of external field. Such materials are called soft magnetic materials. Examples are soft iron and nickel. The ferromagnetic properties depend on temperature. At high temperature, ferromagnetic materials become paramagnetic. The temperature of transition from ferromagnetism to paramagnetism is called the Curie temperature. So this Curie temperature is the transition temperature where ferromagnetic material is converted into paramagnetic materials. Then we see antiferromagnetic materials. In these materials, the magnetic moments of atoms usually related to the spin of electrons. They are aligned in a regular pattern with neighboring spins pointing in opposite direction. These antiparallel coupling of magnetic moments disappear entirely above a certain temperature called Néel temperature. The Néel temperature of MnO is 122 Kelvin. Okay. So this is the diagram of antiferromagnetism or antiferromagnetic material. Here we see the direction of the dipole moment. These are upward, these are downward. So they are all arranged in this manner. In antiferromagnetic material, Xiam increases with temperature. So Xiam is the magnetic susceptibility and it increases with temperature in case of the ferromagnetic materials. Now we see next point, difference between paramagnetic and diamagnetic materials. Okay. So first is the paramagnetic material and second is diamagnetic materials. So we see one by one. In paramagnetic materials, it is weakly attracted by magnetic field, while diamagnetic material is weakly repelled by magnetic field. In paramagnetic material, each atom has magnetic moment. In diamagnetic, each atom do not have magnetic moment. The third difference is the permeability of this material is greater than the permeability of free space. In case of diamagnetic material, the permeability of this material is less than the permeability of free space. In paramagnetic material, it get magnetized along the direction of external field, while in case of diamagnetic material, it get magnetized opposite to the direction of external field. In paramagnetic material, when placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, it has tendency to move from weaker to stronger part of the field. Examples are aluminum, platinum, manganese, oxygen. When diamagnetic substance is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, it has a tendency to move from stronger to weaker part of the field, and examples are bismuth, copper, gold, mercury, etc. Okay. Then next difference we see ferromagnetic substance and diamagnetic substance. First we see ferromagnetic substance. It is strongly attracted by magnetic field, while diamagnetic is weakly repelled by magnetic field. Second, each atom has a net magnetic moment. Here, each atom do not have magnetic moment. Third, the permeability of this material is very large than the permeability of free space, while the permeability of this material is less than the permeability of free space. It get magnetized along the direction of external field. It get magnetized opposite to the direction of the external magnetic field. When placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, it gets strongly magnetized and has tendency to move from weaker to stronger part of the field. Examples are iron, nickel, cobalt. In diamagnetic substance, when it is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, it has tendency to move from stronger to weaker part of the field. Examples are bismuth, copper, gold, mercury, etc. In ferromagnetic substance, domain structure exists in this material, while in diamagnetic material, domain structure does not exist. Okay, so this is the difference between ferro and diamagnetic materials. Now we see the last point of this chapter, Bohr magneton. An electron magnetic dipole moment can be expressed in terms of physical constant called Bohr magneton. That means Bohr magneton is the physical constant and it is expressed to denote electron magnetic dipole moment. When we obtain expression for Bohr magneton, it is denoted by mu b using loop model for electron orbit. So Bohr magneton can be obtained by considering the loop model for an electron. So here we consider this electrons is revolving in a circular orbit of radius r with velocity v. So this moving electron produces the current I, and this arrow shows the direction of the current. So here L is the orbital angular momentum and mu is the magnetic dipole moment. Okay. Consider an electron of mass m and charge E moving with speed v in a circular orbit of radius r as shown in this figure. Okay. This moving charge is equivalent to a current loop. The magnetic moment of the loop is mu equal to I into A. That is, we have seen in the first lecture. Okay. The period t is given by t equal to 2 pi upon omega, and that is equal to 2 pi r upon v, where we substitute this omega equal to v upon r. Okay. Now the current I is the total charge passing per unit time. Okay. So we write here I equal to E upon T, and that is equal to EV upon 2 pi R. Okay. Because we substitute here the value of period from last equation or equation first. Okay. The magnetic moment is given by mu equal to I into A. Therefore, we put the values of current and area. We get mu equal to, the value of current is EV upon 2 pi R and area is pi R square. So this is equal to EVR upon 2. Okay, because here RR get cancelled, pi get cancelled. So we'll get the equation EVR upon 2. So equation is third. Now it is useful to express magnetic moment in terms of the angular momentum L of electron. So here we express magnetic moment in terms of the angular momentum. The angular momentum of particle is L equal to mvr, as right here r equal to L upon mv. Putting value of r in equation third. So we put the value of r in this equation. Okay. So we'll get magnetic moment mu equal to EV upon twice m into v into L. Or we substitute this L upon me here. So we get equation mu equal to EV L upon twice mv. Write this equation mu equal to EL upon twice m, because here VV get cancelled. So this is equation 4. Okay. The component of angular momentum in a particular direction is always integer multiple of h upon 2 pi. Therefore, equation 4 can be written as mu equal to E upon twice m, and here we substitute the value of angular momentum equal to h upon 2 pi, because it is the integer multiple of h upon 2 pi. Therefore, we write here Bohr magneton mu b equal to Eh upon 4 pi m. The quantity mu b is called Bohr magneton. Okay. Substituting the value of E, H and M, the value of Bohr magneton is mu b equal to 9.274 into 10 raised to minus 24 ampere meter square, or in other unit we write 9.27 into 10 raised to minus 24 joule per Tesla. Okay. So this is the Bohr magneton. With this lecture, third chapter is finished, and here is completion of syllabus. So thanks to all students attending the lecture.